The late, great King of Pop once sang, "I believe the children are our future." I would only add that the children are the here and the now. If you were to imagine with me, if you wanted to plant a beautiful flower in a beautiful garden, you would nurture it. You would water it a few times a week, plant it in a nice sunny spot, weed out the weeds, and maybe even add some nutrients to the soil so it would flourish. The reward you would get is a beautiful flower to enjoy for many months, maybe even years to come. I am not a farmer or a garden expert by all means. In fact, most flowers I try to plant usually die, and so I just give up. But I wanted to show you this beautiful rose bush that I planted a few years ago. In fact, I planted 3 that year. This one was the one that grew. I have to, in fact, trim it every winter, or it would probably take over that entire window. You may be thinking, what do flowers have anything to do with domestic violence awareness? But trust me, it will all make sense after a while. My name is Jennifer Gross. Some of you I know, and some of you I am meeting for the first time. I know, but here I am to share with you my story. But in order to do that, I have to start backwards. I am 41 years old. I am local to the Lehigh Valley. I have my master's degree in education, pre-K to 4. My undergrad is in ministry, and I even have my associate's degree in special education. I am married to my husband for nearly 20 years, and I have a 17-year-old daughter, Faith. Again, what does this have to do with any of this? Stay with me, trust. So you remember my flower analogy. I wasn't always the successful woman, wife, teacher, mother, or citizen that you see in front of you. In fact, at 15, I sat in a dark in-school suspension room, writing in my diary both homicidal and suicidal thoughts that should have triggered any red flags for any efficient adult in my life. Luckily for me, I was eventually able to get the help that I needed. That, unfortunately, is not the case for all children. You see, I grew up with a verbally abusive father and a victim of school bullies, which made it even worse. Some teachers in middle school even used me as their classroom management punishment. One teacher shut me in a room. Another would threaten that whoever didn't do their work would have to sit with me. And another would turn his back on the problems with the other students, but then send me to the vice principal for discipline when I acted out. Then I'd get home and get yelled at for causing trouble in school, and then be grounded for periods of time that were so long that I even forgot what I was in trouble for in the first place. When I wasn't the victim of my father's tyranny, my mother was. She almost died at his hand in front of me when I was in kindergarten. A neighbor had called the police, and then to add to my trauma, they were kicking and punching my father down the street because he liked to beat women. On the surface, I was the bad kid. I was trapped. I was stuck inside the space between my ears. My defense was an imaginary friend that I had developed into an altar, Hart Corey. At 15, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and dissociative identity disorder. I could count 14 altars. There was a time in high school where I missed 6 out of 9 months of my school in my freshman year. I was told that it would take a miracle for me to graduate with my class, and if I graduated, even at all, I would be then interdependent upon my mother. There was little to no future for me. I would not be married, have a stable family of my own, hold down a full-time job, or go to college, which was nearly impossible and out of the picture. As you can see, no one defines or writes your future. Don't let anyone speak down upon your dreams. I am free now. I hold no animosity towards anyone who hurt me in the past. It is what I believe needed to happen to become the powerhouse woman who you see with compassion in front of you to this day. The help that I needed was love. For a born-again Christian, I find my love in Jesus. As a teacher, I pay that love forward and nurture and speak life into the little people I teach every day. Genesis 50:20 is my life verse. It is what I live by, and it is what keeps me going. If we take so much effort in the gardens to nurture and grow them, why wouldn't we want to do that with a child? In the words of Frederick Douglass, it is easier to build strong children than repair broken men. So, if you take one thing away from you with you today, let it know this. You may be a victim of circumstance, but you can change that. So if you would imagine, this was my grandmother. The next cup is my dad. Pours the trauma into my father. Right? Then my dad, who has no idea how to live or nurture anybody, takes that trauma and he dumps it into me. What could happen here? I have this choice. In my own trauma, I can either take that and start to dump it into my own child, or I can break this generational curse, which is what I chose to do. And I pour life into her, so she can grow up with a childhood I never had. Thank you.